All of you have friends, right? That I call them my foxhole friends. That when the artillery's coming, those are the guys I want in my foxhole. I hope people get to see that side of Wade Zarlingo of what a great guy he is, what a wonderful friend he is, and how he's the embodiment of why we hunt. Because Wade's expectations are pretty much have fun, make some memories, and put some meat in the freezer.
There's a herd down here. It's got 4. There's a buck in it.
Wade Zarlingo and I met each other when I was going to college here in Arizona over 35 years ago. When you get to know Wade, you talk to him and you hear these stories about him and his brother or him and his dad. You can tell that hunting is that bond in his family, like it is in most of our families. If you shoot one that doesn't eat good, Wade, you've somehow broke the mold. I've never found a pronghorn that wasn't delicious. And I'd say 20 years ago, he said, you know, if I ever draw a pronghorn tag, I really hope you're gonna come down and help me. Yeah, whatever, sure. Well, little did I know it would be 20 years later or so before the debt came due, and here I am. And it's gonna be one of those hunts for me that is just spending time with friends who I've known forever and mean a lot to me.
Got a pretty good hook on him, huh?
Yeah. You'll find a bigger one, but...
Kind of flares out.
Yep, that's why. Because of his flaring out, he doesn't look as big from the side. What we'll see, who knows? I know this. With pronghorn, we've got 2 days to scout, and it is go glass, jump in the rig, drive to the next point, glass, driving glass, driving glass, driving glass, driving glass. And if there's water, which is primary right now, and some decent feed, they're gonna be there.
It's a buck, I think.
How far out?
Out there in that green patch right there, right on the edge of that green patch.
Yeah. So you're saying I gotta climb off this hill and get my spotter now?
Maybe. I don't know if that spotter do much good with his heat waves.
I cannot believe you spotted a buck antelope way in the confounded tarnation out there.
He was standing in the wrong spot.
So Wade, he sees that my northern thick blood is not doing well in these hot temps. He said, Randy, just a half mile that way, there's a bunch of bucks. They always come in water at this tank. No self-respecting antelope would be out in this weather.
It's a little warm.
A little?
Just a little.
So Wade's just wanting to make sure I get my exercise today. So I'm gonna follow him. If you can find a decent buck, they are so territorial this time of year that you can come back and you can usually relocate them in that territory that he's marked out. So that's gonna be part of the strategy. Find the bucks that at least have some interest to Wade. Here's where they're at, and go and do that for 2 days. And at the end of 2 days, all right, Wade, here's what we saw. Where are we going in the morning? So here's that pronged out one.
God, I like him.
Well, if you like him, then you should shoot him. That's the easy answer.
I'll shoot.
That's the other bigger buck. Came out of where he disappeared and he got a doe with him.
That was the one I saw run, I think.
And antelope don't get up and move a lot in the dark. Their vision is far more compromised in the dark than what we've come to think of in the daylight, where their vision is excellent. And when the sun goes down, they will usually bed nearby. And when you come back in the morning, you'll be looking and looking. And you'll be like, oh man, they must have left somehow. A coyote must have busted them last night. And you'll keep looking, and then about sunrise, boom, they pop up just like Jack in the Box. The person I met Wade through is my buddy Jerry Pritchard. Jerry and I grew up together as toddlers back in northern Minnesota. And so when Wade ends up with this tag, Jerry's like, well, I'm coming with.
How you been, buddy? Good. I decided to take matters into my own hands and just drive south.
Hey, Debbie, how you doing, buddy? Great, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
One of the challenges in Arizona is drawing a pronghorn tag. You can draw elk and deer tags here easier than you can draw a pronghorn tag. And I don't know how many years Wade spent, 20, 22, something like that. But he'd always told me, and he's always told Jerry, if I draw this tag, I want you guys to come and share camp with me.
But the biggest expectation I had was just getting back out here with Jerry and Randy and just running around in this country. It's just, it's different.
So what'd you guys end up seeing last night?
On a good one yesterday.
We're going to get him. If you approach a pronghorn hunt with the right mindset, it is nothing but fun. I think it's one of the things about pronghorn hunting that appealed to me and put pronghorn so far up my list. Well, morning of scouting day 2, season opens tomorrow. Fortunately, we picked up Jerry this morning, so we got an extra set of eyes. I think these guys have decided we're gonna get a little closer. We're about 4 miles away from all the antelope we're seeing, so we're gonna try to cut the distance to maybe 2 miles. I like to come 1, maybe 2 days early and do as much of an inventory of what's there, and also an inventory of what's there from a habitat standpoint, not just from the bucks that are there. And if I know where the water sources are, where the roads are, what roads are open, what roads are closed, I can kind of account for, at least give a pretty good estimate of where the antelope are gonna go for food, for water, and where they're gonna go in response to hunting pressure and where that hunting pressure is gonna come from.
Oh boy, that's bad a heat wave that I've ever seen.
Our guy, he's coming back here now.
It doesn't look that big, but it's just so hard to tell.
That's a long ways away. It's like 3 to 4 miles away.
And we just couldn't find the bucks we wanted. We found one good buck, and then we had some backup bucks that we were looking at. They might be good, they might not, you know.
We found some antelope. We found 2 little bucks, not worth looking at. We'd seen them this morning and said, better get closer. Not gonna chase those. So now we got a bunch more of them about 3 or 4 miles over here that we gotta go check out. Keep doing it and doing it and doing it till you find Big Hank. But hopefully we can find some other bucks here. There's one buck in here that Wade had seen in his scouting that we haven't got eyes on yet. So hopefully we can find him somewhere around here.
I'd done some scouting on my own, probably a good 4 weekends worth, you know, just getting up here with friends. And it got me excited about one of the bucks that was there. And so we spent the next 3 days hunting for that particular buck. With this prime light, we probably ought to just go see if we can find something else. We can always save this spot. We know there's 3 bucks in there, and 2 of them are worth taking in my book. So let's do that. Let's run out of here and see if we can catch something else with the light the way it is.
So are you thinking you want to be back here in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, if you're up to it, I'll go and make some moose tacos.
Sounds good.
That's got my attention. That'll be a first.
All right.
That'll be a first.
All right.
Sounds good. We'll do that.
Here we are, opening morning. A buck that's got a lot of character that Wade wants to shoot. I think we're gonna go after him. One of the good parts about this hunt was Wade invited his 2 friends, Kyle and Keith, to come up. And me, Wade, Jerry, Dale, the camera guy, we'd spent all of the day before season scouring the landscape. We come back to camp. Here comes Keith and Kyle, and they got some pictures of some bucks on their phone. And Wade's like, man, those are cooler than anything we've seen. So that line of trees out there, he's on the other side, but he's going out that way. So if we get to that line of trees, we can use that as cover, see how far he is. That's how day 1 started, is there was this little glassing knob. Everybody got up there. And the idea was, once we see some bucks, say, all right, yeah, that's him. If we can get over to those trees.
You know right where he's at.
Yeah. It's right there. He's over that ridge right there. So if we get to these trees over here,
You figure he's going into water. There's water everywhere.
yeah. And like most hunts, right? In your mind, as you're sneaking up there, you're thinking, oh man, this is gonna be way too easy. Oh, this thing is dead. And then you get there and you find out, oh, he's gone. Where'd he go? He's way out there. About 1,000 yards with no cover. So we just tucked in this little grove of trees and we waited there. Wade's got a great big one he likes.
Jerry said it was a great big one. Randy gave me a bullet. I can't ask nothing more than to shoot him now.
That's right.
Everybody else has done their job.
Yeah, if Wade likes them, that's all that matters. Jerry and I are just here to eat backstraps when he gets them. So we move over to this other batch of trees and we sit there and we wait, and we wait, and we wait. And we're sitting there and all of a sudden, here comes that biggest buck. Just walking towards us. Big Hank is out here and we're in this little nest of trees, the only shade around. And I think he's gonna rut his way back near here and Wade's gonna put the drop on him here sometime today. And he's just out there right now, horning a bunch of bushes, acting like he's really tough. And he probably is, you know? It'd be kind of like George Foreman saying, hey, you know what? I could hurt you. And he looks at us and then he looks off to our right, probably, I don't know, that first clump of trees we were in, maybe 200 yards away. And he just locks into that. Like, I don't know, something ain't right. After about 2 minutes, he turned and just walks straight away. But that's how it goes. The animal doesn't always read the script. I think we were about ready to do an auction over who got the biggest piece of shade because it was hot.
I'm sure you are all wondering why we are suffering through this 97-degree heat out here. It's because the biggest antelope we've seen in 3 days is out here somewhere. And we're just not gonna risk the dehydration of hiking back to the truck in these temperatures. I'm probably reaching the point of near hallucination and hysteria. I'm down to my last 3 drops of water. I didn't bring any food. We found one dead antelope. Where's that antelope? There was an antelope that tried to walk out of here. Wade found him. Just out here. He didn't make it. This is what happens when you try to hike out of here in the middle of the day. That's him. That's the remnants of his carcass. He was trying to get to that water hole 3 miles over there. And the conditions were just too harsh. He couldn't do it. Wake me up when he gets here, Wade. If I'm not dead. If I'm dead, don't bother to skid my carcass out of here. Just take a waypoint and tell my wife where the buzzards have got me.
Finally, we decided, well, let's pull back and let's go make a big loop up where Kyle and Keith are. As quick as we start walking up this rock wall, we peek up there and there's a buck.
We found our buck, but he just disappeared again. You won't find him now, Wade. He's not there.
Wade and Dale, they start sneaking out there. They're trying to get to this tree and they're going and going and going.
We got there and he wasn't one that just got me excited. It wasn't that he was a bad buck. He just didn't get me excited.
And I look behind me and here's a buck walking through some trees out there about, I don't know, 600-700 yards.
Look back at Randy and he's waving his hands. And so he's got that other buck.
No, this one's bigger, this one's bigger.
About past the truck behind us, so we're gonna scramble over there and get there. Maybe we can get a shot at that one. I bet he's going down there to get a drink.
I think he is. I think he got through one of these gaps down
there. And we're thinking this buck is gonna keep coming towards us. So we get set up where Wade's gonna have a 200 to 300 yard shot. And once again, the antelope, being as random and fluky as they are, he does a pivot and he starts going out that way.
It's a little bit of a push. We thought we had him right on the other side of the trees and popped out, and he was moving away already, and he's still moving away. So anyway, we'll see what he does on top of this ridge. We might get one more push, but doesn't look good right now.
You know, it's just the way it goes sometimes.
That's how it works. It's fun though.
Well, if we're gonna get all the bad luck out of the way, let's get it out of the way the first day. Great, we get another day antelope hunting. So we saw quite a few bucks on day one, so the plan was on day two, let's go do the same thing. Trying to find Big Hank. We found him here yesterday. He was out there about 1.5 miles. Antelope here, antelope there.
Yeah, pretty good one there. Does almost look like you got that. I think that's one that hooks back.
I can't tell for sure. You want to make a run for it? I mean, we got to bring the spotter to make sure that, to identify him if he's out there.
Not seeing anything from them, so last time I looked at them, they kind of motioned to the right a little bit. Try and get up here by that dead tree. We're gonna try and get up there by the dead tree.
We drop down, we move over, we come up. Nope. Move over, come up. Nope. Finally, we start sneaking out to this one lone tree out there, and we look, and he is just way out there now. So we get here, and Mr. Dale, the camera guy, before Wade and I even get our packs off, he's like, there's 2 bucks walking away from us way out there. One of them's Big Hank. So we came this way, and they're going that way.
I think they know exactly what we're thinking before we're thinking it, because they're doing just the opposite of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we're zigging when they're zagging, no doubt about it. Wade's got a good plan, I think. He and the camera guy take my truck all the way around that 2.5 miles to that road. Because the biggest buck we saw headed straight south. Me and Jerry and Kyle will stay here. Keith had to leave that morning, so now we're down one guy already, and you guys go do that, and we'll keep an eye out over on this direction. I have my spotter dialed all the way up, and I'm watching them. They're just making their way across the landscape, and as they stop, this buck stands up out of its bed.
So we found him again. He saw us before we saw him, but we're gonna, looks like he's coming this way. We've got a water tank right behind us. We're gonna have to find a place to sit up where if he does come in the water, we have an opportunity at him.
They're hustling now. They're making up some ground.
He's running on that ridge top for the most part, so kind of ease up here and look and see if we can catch him. But kind of my idea right now, unless we get lucky, is just to get eyes on him, be able to watch him in case he does come back toward us. But we're not going to get into the chasing game like we did yesterday.
And you're out there with no shade in the high 90s. That is brutal hunting conditions.
Yeah, I'm not going to shoot him the way he's looking at. But he was facing right at me, and it just wasn't a good shot. It wasn't comfortable, and we tried to get him to quarter a little bit to take that shot, but we just couldn't get it done.
Yeah. That was close.
The gig is up. So when they come and meet up with us, now we've got this other buck located out there, and he's got a doe with him. And Wade and Dale go out on another stalk, and it was so fun to watch.
He gives me a good shot, I might take him, but he's not my prime candidate. Let's see what happens, but I don't think it's the one I want. Get up there and look at him a little bit closer. He's gonna be easy if I want to kill him, I think. I just gotta make up my mind. He wasn't one that just got me excited. He wasn't what I was looking for. And he's not exactly what I want. I'd hate to hit him bad, so we're gonna go back and see if we can find another one.
Wade had a chance, but that wasn't the one. And that, when he came back, he's like, yeah, that's about 280 yards, but just didn't have that feeling.
Yeah, it's a weird deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the closest I've been. Wasn't real comfortable with the shot, and it just didn't strike my fancy, so.
You never want to shoot the aw shucks buck, where you walk up there and you're like, ah, shucks. And Wade didn't. He held off. And so what we did in the morning is Wade and Dale took my truck and went way south on that same loop they'd done the day before.
Third morning with a plan here. So we've got Randy and Kyle up on the hill here. Jerry left this morning. We kind of came in where we thought we'd have an advantage, where we could move around a little bit more if we do find one coming into this tree area, which they have been doing pretty regularly. We were sitting in there and had that bigger buck just come right through us. He came in from behind us. Yeah, he's him. That's him.
And then all of a sudden, I see him, and I put my spotter up, and I tell Kyle, I'm like, hey, Wade's on the shooting sticks, man. Watch this.
I'm gonna take him if he stops.
We're watching, and Kyle's like, you hear that? I'm like, no. He's like, that was a gunshot.
Dang! That's awesome!
How about that?
Whoa! Whoa!
Joking. Like, what if he comes from behind us and that happens?
Yeah!
To work that hard for a pronghorn, I know most people think, well, pronghorn, you just, they stand by the road and you shoot one and you're done. Well, I wasn't there when Wade walked up to that buck, but I wish I had been.
That's a great big one. And he's gonna taste good. Both criteria met. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful animal. So needless to say, this has been a very emotional hunt, and being able to take an animal, knowing that it's gonna fill the freezer, means a lot to me, especially having the friends with me that I had with me today. What an emotional deal, dude.
Yeah?
I've been crying like a baby over here.
Oh, man.
Tag number 13 out of 15 after 22 years. Finally get to lay this thing on a beautiful buck antelope.
I know it was super rewarding for me. I can't even imagine how rewarding it was for Wade. And I'm so thankful that he invited me to be on this hunt.
Very rewarding hunt. I enjoyed every bit of it, and I'm going to continue to enjoy this for a long time.
Unfortunately, I gotta leave. But fortunately, the reason I have to leave is because Wade Zarlingo filled his pronghorn tag. And he created some great memories, not just for himself, but for all of us. Whoa. What do we got here? How do you navigate this?
We've got the target in sight. He'll be here momentarily.
They're going to get him. That buck is out there about a mile. They're gonna get him. A lot of people don't think of antelope hunting as hiking and miles and tough sledding. This heat, this sun, tough sledding. Right here with me is Mr. Kyle. He's been standing here with me all morning. I'm gonna make him be on camera right now, whether he wants to or not. Get on the camera, Dale. Get on the camera. Yeah.
on.